Hey guys, this is Simon from Fateless. Today we're going to be looking at some of the rewards you can get from the Alpha Tower. We've been working hard actually to get a couple of collaborations going where we're looking to have an awesome prize for the people that really push themselves in our Alpha experience. Really as a massive thank you for everyone who's going to get involved, because a big part of that for us is about getting feedback before we go into kind of like, you know, the full beta and before we go into our launch by the end of the year. So yeah, we're going to go into some of those rewards. I'm going to share with you those collaborations as well. In the meantime, what are we doing? We are literally doing deep dive sessions daily, which I think the dev team are not enjoying that much, but it's literally like this screen. We want to deep dive the screen and make sure that everything that should be happening properly on this screen is happening. You're probably like, of course, that sounds like the thing that you should do every day with any game. And yeah, I mean, obviously we'll get there, but at this point, it's now moving from, you know, does the screen work? By the way, I showed Quetzalcoatl in Discord this week, animated. It's the first time we've seen one of our kind of like, you know, long dragons animated. I don't know if the other one is actually already. Let me see. No, this is what we've seen them like so far, just like long sticks, right? But we're starting to get the animations through now for some of these different creatures and stuff. And this one's freaking cool, right? So anyway, we're basically going through and we're just sort of saying, look, is everything hitting the base plan? And there's little things, right? So instantly on this screen, I'm looking at it. We're actually doing the review on this screen today. I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh, this awakening tag. Firstly, I don't even know if that should be there. I don't think that's what it should say. But it doesn't quite line up with this. Like, there's small stuff like that where it's just annoying. And yeah, just like tweaks which would take someone literally like a couple of minutes. This screen is going to change anyway a decent amount based on what I said in my last video. But yeah, each of the different heroes, you know, you go to this upgrade button. Okay, does this screen work right? Is the hero positioned in the right place? And the answer to that is no, they should be further left. Does all of the mechanics we've got around you know, leveling and promoting our different heroes work? You know, when you actually go in and get it done, can I select, you know, my heroes to use as food? Is there the kind of like error message if you're going to try and feed a legendary, for example? All of those things, which it will happen if I press promote, and it will kind of like show me if I got the stuff. All of those things are like now our focus. Like every screen that you guys will interact with during the alpha is every screen nailed on right. And in the meantime, there's still a bunch of other stuff to do, right? So there's, you know, you'll see it here, some of our visuals, although I feel like they've improved a ton over the last 6 months even. There's still some where you're like, well, the lighting is not quite right. I think Guan Yu's a good example where you just kind of see we've got probably too many lights coming in here, but he's got this kind of like reflective stuff going on, and there's just stuff like that. So we're constantly trying to work to improve the visuals that you guys will see. We're also constantly inputting, you know, the different animations and idle breakers and stuff like that for our different heroes. Where is he? Drac recently got animated, and he got his idle breaker in, and there's a whole bunch of this stuff that's going on literally day by day, right? So all of this is really important. Also, even though it's not going to be relevant for the alpha, you know, a lot of the different screens that we've been building out recently are also starting to be implemented, because obviously we're not just focused on delivering an alpha, we're focused on building a game. And there's almost like these two tracks. One is everything we need for alpha needs to be super polished and really, really clean. And then there's also this kind of like thought of, and what about when we get past that? Because obviously we need to make sure that we're delivering on a game. So let's talk about some of the cool stuff that you could win if you push yourself in the alpha experience. I think I'm going to open this up by just saying there's some stuff that we're actually really on the fence about. And we've done a number of different kind of like focus groups with you know, some of our kind of like trusted people that we know from a content creator point of view, and also from players that we've known for a long time in this industry. And the thing that's really, I guess, polarizing people is resources, right? So, you know, for being part of the alpha experience, you know, we want to say thank you for being involved. So things like, you know, some diamonds, some energy, some gold, things like ether crystals, you know, should they be part of the reward? Originally, I had this kind of like, I had them as kind of like some of the big rewards, and also things like, you know, weapons that you can earn in the game. Should that be a reward? Those type of things. So basically stuff that's going to give whoever's playing a faster start when we get going. That's the one at the moment that is completely, I guess, it's undecided, and I'm not sure where we're going to go with it, because there's definitely this train of thought where it's like, look, if I'm going to be supporting on this alpha experience with feedback and playtesting and all that type of stuff, bug reporting, whatever it is, then yeah, I feel like I should be rewarded for that. And I kind of agree. There's also another group that's like, if loads of people just got this kind of like chunk of resources, even if it's not that much, you know, if it's like I don't know, the equivalent of $100 worth of stuff, let's say it was that, there's still a train of thought to say, I hate the idea of those people starting with, you know, an extra chunk than me when this game gets going. So they're the things which are kind of like, we're not sure about. The things which we are sure about. So things like a kind of like portrait, which is only going to be possible to get through doing this alpha. Things like the frames, which again will be unique depending on your positioning on the alpha. So if you literally are the person who came first in our cavern experience, then you're going to get a completely unique portrait frame that no one else will ever have again, as a kind of like, you know, just a hats off to you, really. Some achievements which will never be achieved again, which you could have when someone comes and spectates you as a player. So those type of things we know we're definitely going to do. Also, a couple of skins. So there'll be a skin for everybody for one of the heroes that is going to be kind of like, you know, like a collect this hero through missions type of vibe. And there'll also be quite exclusive skin for another hero of that type of, you know, possible to get them through questing for like the top 100 players. So those things we're definitely going to do. Now, this is where it gets kind of sexy, really. We have teamed up with Squidmar. Now, Squidmar's one of the people in the miniatures kind of like ecosystem or whatever, who builds out dioramas. He does a lot of work with his team around like cool kind of like painting experiences, and he's going to be building us a diorama based around the fight, based around the tower or the caverns, with the boss in the frame, and also the winning person's team that they used to beat the boss with the most damage. Those heroes will be within the diorama, basically fighting the boss, which is super sweet. There'll also be something like some skeletons or some remains of like some of the top players within the diorama as well. And then in terms of like the bust or the sort of the stand which holds the diorama, something along the lines of the top 1,000 players from the alpha will have their name engraved on that kind of bust. And then it will be kept at Verco's Vault, which is the world's largest museum of fantasy miniatures. So Gary, who's actually our lead investor on the project for Fateless, owns Verco's Vault, which will be the biggest miniatures museum in the world in Las Vegas. So literally, you could go and visit this and sort of see the diorama, see your name on the plaque, and all that type of stuff. And we're looking at potentially, we're still talking about numbers here, but flying some of the winners, probably top 5, something like that, out to Verco's Vault when it opens with the diorama in there for a bit of a visit with the team as well. So pretty sweet, honestly, pretty sweet type of prizes. I'm going to link this video below where Squidmar talks about one of the dioramas that he built. It's like near enough a 30-minute video, but he goes through, and we will be doing a video with him for the Godforged diorama as well. It goes through the making of a lot of the different kind of like painting techniques that were used, how they made the little figures, how they kind of like, you know, blocked out some of the different ideas for what the diorama is going to be doing. All of this stuff is, honestly, for me, it's amazing. And Squidmar's they've got their own range of miniatures as well. Just a really, really cool dude. We were chatting to him this week. He's really up for it. He kind of follows what we're doing at Godforge anyway. He's a fan of what we're up to, and he likes this style of game. And yeah, I don't know. I just feel like it's going to be a really, really cool final reward and thank you to the community for being involved. So as I say, there's some stuff which is still a bit of a moving feast, but we're kind of locking all that down. And in the meantime, we're getting the game into a really solid position so that you guys can enjoy it for the alpha. That's going to be it for today. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you are as kind of like keen and buzzing for it as I am. And yeah, I will see you in the next one.